What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Michael's here. Is his audio here? He's muted. You're muted. Michael, this is a thing. He's a slow starter.
We're here.
But once he gets going, there's no stopping him. Kind of like the Indiana Indiana offense these days.
Yeah.
Michael's riding high off of IU's ascendancy in college football this year. They have beaten multiple top 10 teams now, and he's super excited. You're going to give up white supremacy for this, right? Because there's a lot of non-whites on that team. You couldn't really have your success without it. What do you think about that?
This is Dago supremacy through Coach Signetti.
Correct.
Yeah.
Of course, my boy comes up with the exact right analysis every time. There it is. Yes, Signetti was giving the Mussolini salute during the last game. I think he on the sideline. He was not to say anything about your people.
Winners.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
They've won over the world with their cuisine. How about that? Your people.
Yeah. Man.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, it's good to have somebody here who teaches the values of winning, like Bobby Knight used to. It's back in the blood. People are happy to be Hoosiers again.
I know. To change subjects quickly, good word. I forgot. I meant to send this to you. We have a new course.
History of the left. History of the American left. Yeah, I got the email.
Announced. It was just announced. That's why even Michael didn't know about it. He knew it was coming. So if you have that link, that'll be next Thursday, starting next Thursday, the 23rd, first session of the History of the American Left, 2-part course at Unregistered Academy. You have to be a subscriber, paid subscriber to Unregistered Academy to take that course and to take all of our live streaming courses as well. And so if you want to do that, go to Substack. There it is. Look at my man. Unregisteredacademy.substack.com. If you are a subscriber to Thaddeus Russell at Substack, you've probably got an email about this already, but you should just click on that or whatever it is, copy and paste that, and then click on it. Go check it out. This is the course of the year. This is the most requested course. Did a survey of all the Unregistered Academy students, and this was the top course that they wanted. So we're giving the people what they want. It's also the course that I just love teaching because, of course, I have been raised in the American left, was raised in the American left, am a man of the American left, and studied it professionally for many, many years. I don't think there's another subject that I am more an expert on. So this is going to be a lot of fun. 2 sessions starting next Thursday, the 23rd, available to all Unregistered Academy Substack paid subscribers. Go there now, become a subscriber, and I'll see you in class. Yeah, we're covering everything and we're adding a lot. I taught this course many, many years ago, but it's been augmented in many ways. In particular, we are going to examine in depth the Christian and Jewish ideological roots of the American left, which are abundant. In fact, I will argue in this course, and I've argued elsewhere, that they defined Christian and Jewish intellectual traditions, defined the American left, and continue to this day. So we will do that. I will leave the Catholics mostly alone. You're safe here because Catholics in the American context. I mean, I know, but in terms of the mainstream American left intellectual currents of the last 200 years, Catholics are a very small figure. I know there's a Catholic left-wing tradition, and we will discuss that as well. But interestingly, it's been Protestants who have led, and Jews in the 20th century. Protestants in the 19th, Jews in the 20th have led, for the most part, the American left-wing intellectual tradition. So we'll be spending a lot of time on that, as well as, of course, all the movements from John Brown, the abolitionists, to Reconstruction, the progressives, the Socialist Party, the Communist Party, the Civil Rights Movement, feminism, second wave and first wave, the gay liberation movement of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and what it devolved into with the trans movement. And then we'll spend a significant chunk of the last session examining, and this is newly written history, the history of the woke left. No one's really written a history of that in any serious way until now, and we will attempt to do that in this course. So I'm excited. The people are excited. The members, they're not students, they're members of Unregistered Academy, are excited. And Michael, you will not have a lot of anti-Catholicism going on, I promise you.
That's fine. I'm just laughing at our left-wing Judeo-Christian values that we are going to be pondering here. The Mike Huckabee history of the American left here.
Oh, the ironies abound. Yeah. The ironies abound. Christianity and Judaism as the origin, the source of American left-wing politics. Weird, but so true. Mm-hmm. Tune in, subscribe. You'll find out why. Do you want to move on to the news, or you want to continue discussing this?
Well, a little bit in the context of the box office. Have you seen One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson's latest movie?
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, it's so Paul Thomas Anderson, famed movie director, started with Boogie Nights, Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood, Magnolia. Yeah,
love Magnolia. Yep.
Top line director. People consider him the best director of the 21st century often. Mm-hmm. His latest movie is One Battle After Another, and it's about basically left-wing terrorism. I believe Leonardo DiCaprio is a left-wing terrorist going after ICE facilities, and Sean Penn plays a Tom Homan type character, and there's all these sexy black lady revolutionaries that everybody's lusting after the whole time, and it's about DiCaprio trying to liberate his child from the clutches of this Tom Homan character.
Wait a second. Back to the black sexy lady revolutionaries.
Yeah,
more about that. Can you elaborate a little bit? Are there costumes?
I think Lenny Kravitz's daughter is in it. I think.
Oh, Zoe.
Yeah, okay. Zoe. Yeah.
Okay.
Continuing in the racial cuckold category of American art, that is, which is, by the way, everything that Joaquin Phoenix has done has been a cuckold movie.
Yeah. What is the rest of the movie about? I heard the part about the sexy black revolutionary ladies, but what's the?
Yeah, that's
the rest. The rest of the movie is about what exactly? Everybody should go see this.
I believe the main plot is this older revolutionary is in it for one last battle to save his daughter from the clutches of some ICE facility. And it's Filthy Armenian. Alec Mohibian said it's the worst movie ever made. That it completely tarnishes and destroys all of Paul Thomas Anderson's legacy. It makes him think that revisiting all of those old movies will destroy anything good he saw in them, and that this movie will get people killed, in that it's glorifying the revolutionary violence and the tactics that are happening right now in the streets. That is one of the takes on it, and then the other take is that it lampoons left-wing terrorism, left-wing revolutionary violence as something that has lost its steam and something that is of the past and doesn't have any energy behind it. Like, basically he tries to get out of it by being a good dad. And that's the one human driving force in the movie is trying to be a dad, but these revolutionaries just want to kill. And that's, I haven't seen the movie. This is coming in the long unreported tradition of not watching the movies we comment on, but this is what's coming out in theaters. It's probably going to win a ton of Oscars, perhaps Best Picture next year. People who hate Hollywood are saying this is the Oscars finally giving it to Paul Thomas Anderson for creating agitprop for them, for the Hollywood leftists. And Just curious what people think of it.
Sounds like it's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Alec Mohibian, the great Filthy Armenian podcaster, is right again. Although, of course, Alec and I have different politics, I find his analysis, in particular of liberals, to be always correct, pretty much. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see. I don't know. PTJ, I gotta say, I was mostly a fan. I loved Magnolia. I very much liked Boogie Nights. The other, when he gets more explicitly political, like Blood, what's it called? There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
Which is a terribly stupid sort of, what is it, a parable of the Industrial Revolution. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't map onto the actual history that we have studied of the Industrial Revolution. Less so. But he's very talented. Oh, I was going to say PTJ. I've seen his interviews a couple times. Horribly disappointed I was in his general intelligence. I don't know. Sophistication. I didn't see a whole lot there, but that's true for Hollywood people in general. Usually actors and actresses are as vacant as we think they are. And this is one of the reasons they are such good actors and actresses, because they are so vacant. But directors occasionally, like Anderson, will have some ideas to rub together, but I wouldn't expect too much. He's not a deep thinker. Is there a Hollywood director now who you would consider to be an interesting intellectual? There used to be.
Not a deep thinker necessarily, but there are people who tap into the subconscious. Yeah. There are people who are Lynchian, let's say, who allow creative things to flow through them and create good pieces of art, but not super highly conceptual, great people. Ari Aster is close, but he's not really. He's not brave, or at least Eddington wasn't brave.
Eddington. So is that the movie that all of my friends are into? Is that the one that all the super online?
That is the super online discourse movie. Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but several of my most intelligent friends and colleagues in this world have loved it publicly, so I should watch it. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck Hollywood. It's done. CBS is where all the action's going to be. I mean, who cares about movies and stuff? I mean, even YouTube's going to be supplanted by CBS News really soon. That's going to be, everybody's going to be talking about like water cooler everywhere. CBS, did you see the report on 60 Minutes last night? It's going to be kids, teenagers in high school are going to be like consumed with what's been going on at CBS. It's going to be a game changer, man. All of which was complete and total sarcasm. We got to talk about Barry Weiss.
We did last week. I think we hammered that in.
Again, though, I have new thoughts because there's been more gestation of the news that she has now become the editor-in-chief at CBS News, reporting to David Ellison, who is Larry Ellison's son. Jesus Christ. I saw an awesome, hilarious report. Charlie Gasparino, he's a major, one of the big time national Wall Street financial reporters. I don't know, is he on Bloomberg or he's on one of or Fox Business, one of those. He's been around for decades. He's like, that's what he does and always has done. And he had an entire podcast devoted to how stupid this deal was to pay Barry Weiss and the Free Press $150 million. And what was great about it was that Charlie Gasparino doesn't really care about the politics of it. And as a business analyst, that was irrelevant. He didn't mention it. And he kept asking over and over during this podcast, why on earth would David Ellison or any business person who's intelligent pay the Free Press $150 million or pay $150 million to purchase the Free Press, which has an annual revenue of 1.5, I think it is, million, 15 million on Substack. That's their annual revenue. We are assuming, given their subscriber numbers. It's not even close. So every serious business person who's not interested in politics and only interested in deals as business deals has said this. And he kept saying, why is this? I don't understand. I'm starting to question the business sense of David Ellison. Why would he do this? Why would he spend that much money for the Free Press and Barry Weiss? And what was great is it just kept saying, as I was watching this, Charlie, like, it's not about business for these people. It's not about money. First of all, he's an Ellison. Larry is number 2, 3, what is it, 4 in the entire world, in the history of the world, wealthiest people. 50, 60, 80, what is he worth? 100 billion? I don't know. And his son is the one doing this. And we know that Larry and David are both arch Zionists. If you don't like the use of that word, I'm so sorry. This is the word that the founders of Israel invented themselves. They are pro-Israel. And I guess I don't think they ever really announced this or declared this publicly, but they launched a takeover attempt of TikTok and now Paramount and CBS, and they're going for CNN next. And we know that Larry Ellison, I think one of his main charities is Friends of the IDF, I believe. I think he's the main private external funder of the Israel Defense Force in the world. So, I mean, they're as committed as you can be to the Zionist project. And it's, I think, also to the anti-wokeness. I think the anti-wokeness of Barry Weiss and the Free Press is also very important for these people. Zionists, pro-Israel people are all, I believe, 100% anti-woke because they see that wokeness included anti-Zionism in it, and that's enough for them. But it's interesting how ideology, isn't it, can completely override any economic or rational decision-making. This is true for everybody, particularly ideological people, which is why ideological people should be feared the most. She has been put into this position clearly and entirely having never run a television network. CBS is the 3rd largest in the world, has bureaus and branches and reporters and editors all over the world. I don't know what the staff is, but it's in the many hundreds. And having never been a reporter, she's only been an opinion writer, which is totally fine. That's basically what I am too, sort of. But she has zero experience doing anything like this. It's clearly a political intervention by an extremely wealthy couple of men. And it's also, is it not clear that their motivation is around those two political issues? Wokeness, generally speaking, but then especially, I'm sure, Israel, Zionism, the destruction of the Palestinian people or the replacement, that project. They are committed to that. That's why they made this stupid business decision to pay the Free Press or pay $150 million for the Free Press to take over CBS News. That's great, though. I think I probably said this last week. I mean, I think that it's going to be a colossal failure. I should not be in the business of making predictions, but I feel pretty solid about this prediction. This will go nowhere. This will go nowhere because we know that everybody Barry Weiss's age and younger hates Israel, including Republicans who are under 41. That's how old she is. And that's not going to change. We're not going to forget the limbless children. We're not. And by the way, now that there is sort of a ceasefire, although I think it's already disintegrating as we speak, I think the ceasefire is going to have the shelf life of milk. I mean, honestly, if it goes more than a week, I'd be surprised. And there's already multiple signs that Israel is ready to declare that Hamas has violated the ceasefire and is going to fight again. When we find out, at some point we will, when there is some kind of ceasefire, if not this one, we will find out the number of actual bodies, including the ones under the rubble, which, by the way, includes probably some of the Israeli hostages. The number of Israeli hostages who have been returned is not what we are hoping for. And there is now quite a bit of educated speculation that that's because several of them are under rubble. Not caused by Hamas fighters, of course, because they can't cause buildings to collapse on top of human beings. Only the Israeli Air Force can. It's going to be, the numbers now are 62,000, I think, dead in Gaza. It's going to push 100. Most people, I mean, if not fly over that number. I don't see how it's going to be less than 5 digits when we're done. This is, you know, all the pro-Zionist, pro-Israel people have been like yapping and laughing at all of us who have been either quiet since the announcement of the ceasefire deal, the so-called peace plan, or have criticized it. Oh, what we really want is the destruction of the state of Israel. Correct, guys. That's right. We do. No, we do. We do. We want the destruction of the state of Israel as a Jewish ethno-state in Palestine. And we always have. I thought we were clear about that, because that is the source of everything that has happened in that place for the last 100 years. You got to get at the root. And of course, the peace plan goes nowhere near the root being the colonization and occupation of these people for 100 years. And their resistance. Now, if they had chosen to not resist and accept the colonization and occupation of their land and their society by an external foreign actor, which would make them basically, I think, the first people to ever do that, to accept colonization in that way, violent colonization, then everything would be fine. And I mean that. I would find if the Palestinian people had been like in 1921, said, oh, cool. Yeah, no, we'll have a Jewish state, rule everything here. And they can move us wherever they want, out of our homes into some other place if they want. Sure, if the Palestinians had said that in 1921 or 1936 or 1939 or 1948 or 1967 or 73 or 1991 ad infinitum, then I mean this. No, cool. That would be their decision. But of course, they have resisted instead for 100 straight solid years with no interruption. And that's all there is to it. So long as the Zionists continue to believe that they must possess that land as an exclusive ethno-state, and so long as the Palestinians as a majority resist that project, there will be no peace. I don't care what ceasefire deal. I don't care if it's 20 points, 50 points, 1,000 points, unless it rectifies that. And yes, eliminate Israel as a Jewish ethno-state in Palestine. Correct. This will continue. There will be more fighting. There will be more massacres. There will probably be more terrorism from both sides. That's it. And I'm actually frustrated that a lot of people on the pro-Palestine side aren't just saying that. They sort of do. They basically do. But you just need to say that straight up. So long as that's a Jewish ethno-state, this will continue. Done. Unless the Palestinians change their entire psycho-political culture, meaning that they resist that. And again, as an American with resistance in our bones, people, I don't understand why Americans identify with Zionists. That's completely bizarre and foreign and artificial. That's like red dye number 4 in American life. The Palestinians are who we should be identifying as Americans with our history, as a colonized people, whatever, originally, but we were, yes. And that's what the resistance was in America. And by the way, we tarred and feathered British loyalists, drove them out of their homes. Much of Canada, much of British Canada to this day is populated by the descendants of American colonists who were British loyalists who were driven from their homes by the likes of George Washington and John Adams. Because anti-colonial struggles have always been nasty everywhere, even here. So I'm sorry, it's root and branch. We can't keep pretending that the entire history of that place began in 2003 or even in 1948. It began in 1892 with the first Zionist settlement in Palestine and has continued apace since then. But certainly since 1917, when the British said, "Oh, this land will be a Jewish homeland forever." Yeah, the superpowers, the British superpower and then the American superpower made that shit possible and has ever since. So please, Israelis, please stop talking about how you've done this yourselves. How brave and heroic you've been doing this all yourselves, fighting this fight by your... No, you never have, ever. The thing was founded by the British when they were the superpower, and it's been sustained by the Americans since we've been the superpower. But it's root and branch, man. No peace plan that doesn't include that. The dissolution of a Jewish ethno-state or any ethno-state that's certainly not Arab or Muslim in that place. Until we see that, we're going to fight. There will be fighting. There will be horrible dead people and children without limbs and dead Jews and dead Arabs and all of it. It's going to continue. I have zero optimism about this plan. There you go.
Okay. Side note, Angel Studios, who made the Bonhoeffer movie, the Dietrich Bonhoeffer movie, and some other Christian movies. They're making a George Washington movie coming out next year for the 250th anniversary. And I have a strong suspicion that it's not going to be as gruesome and violent as it actually was. It's called Young Washington, and it's all about that period. And I have a feeling they're not really going to show... They're going to show some cool epic battle scenes, but I don't think they're going to show the guerrilla warfare that actually went down, and the tarring and feathering, which HBO's Adams, played by Paul Giamatti, got into a little bit. Which it's an interesting period, something that should be portrayed a little bit.
So George Washington, and this is the beginning of my upcoming book, which now, by the way, the pub date has now been moved to September of next year, but I think it's pretty solid. September of 2026, you will see this book. And it begins with a scene of George Washington in the forests in eastern Pennsylvania, calling on his troops to blow away this little squad of French soldiers. This was during the French Indian Wars, before the American Revolution, and his ruthlessness. There was beheadings, scalping. He hired basically these Indian savages, I was going to say warriors, who were local, to scalp the French soldiers as well. If you were to look at George Washington's state of mind, his worldview, his general attitude about violence and war and conquest at that time, it would look a lot like Yahya Sinwar. George Washington was absolutely the Yahya Sinwar of America. So was John Adams, for that matter, and Thomas Jefferson. They had zero care for the lives or the deaths of their purported enemies as they extended and expanded what they called the American Empire. From the very beginning, before the very beginning of the United States. Again, this is the French and Indian Wars. This is many years before the American Revolution. John Adams was calling for an American Rome that would traverse the globe before the American Revolution. Thomas Jefferson, the first thing he did was send the Marines to Africa, North Africa, to fight the Muslim pirates, and in large part to dislodge what he called Mohammedism from the world and replace it with Americanism. Yeah. And this is not unusual for imperialists in other countries. In fact, you could argue very easily that imperialists in other countries have been more vicious. But they've all been Yahya Sinwar, is my point. And Yahya Sinwar, he's not even an imperialist, right? He's a colonist defending his land from the imperialists. But we all were trained to think of Yahya Sinwar as uniquely sadistic, uniquely pathological, sociopathic, right? That's how we are trained to think about him, the embodiment of evil, just like all the other imagined enemies of the United States, from Khomeini to Putin to Assad to Saddam, you name it. Of course, back to Ho Chi Minh, Hitler, Stalin, whatever. They all get demonized in the same way. And yet there is a major through line, which is that they do what nation state actors do. They kill to maintain their power, which is one reason I nor any of my friends have ever sought to attain state power, because we've understood that that's what it entails and requires. You got to kill people. You got to incarcerate people. You got to hurt people. You got to coerce people physically if you're going to be the head of a nation state, if you're going to be head of any kind of nationalist project of any kind. Yahya Sinwar was, to me, exactly as ruthless and barbaric as George Washington or Napoleon or Woodrow Wilson or Franklin Roosevelt or George W. Bush. It doesn't matter. They are all the same in that. And when you take the course on Save Your Nation at Unregistered Academy, you will find that out, because I do include those stories in that course. So check that out as well. What do you think, man? Nationalism, bad, right? Evil, violent, inherently violent. Not Islamism. Nationalism is the inherently violent, dangerous ideology.
Depends on the nation. If it's a good nation I like, then I'm cool with it. So the peace deal.
Yeah.
The peace deal. This is an interesting one, because you have Time magazine putting Trump, even though with an unflattering photo, you've got Trump on the cover of Time magazine for this one, and you've got 3 cover stories that are flattering to him. You've got Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Bill Clinton all saying, "Great job, Donald Trump," naming Donald Trump, issuing statements saying he did a good job on this. You've got Democrats celebrating the day, even though they don't name him in particular. So it seems like the establishment is on board with this plan, whatever this plan is. I think they're signaling that. Yeah. And one reason to be optimistic in one sense is another thing that he got Egypt, Qatar, the rest of the Middle East on board. Everybody except for Iran is basically on board with this, basically saying that Hamas will have no support in the future. They'll be completely cut out, and that there's a united front to rebuild Gaza in whatever vision this is. That there is some sort of plan on the table. It can be pretty frightening in that you've got Gaza being a open air prison now being converted into some hyper surveilled Riviera. But yeah, just those two dynamics. The establishment likes this, number one. And number two, it isolates Iran. So I've heard a lot of analysts say, if this peace stands and there isn't any fighting in Gaza, Israel is going to put all of its attention now on Iran. Iran is even further isolated, and you might finally get that neocon war with Iran that we were worried about.
Oh, yeah. So we know that not a single Palestinian was involved in drafting this peace plan. Not one. We know that it came from the White House, Jared Kushner, maybe Qatar, and the Israeli government. We know that Ron Dermer, who is the policy chief, I don't know his exact title, he's the guy, he's Netanyahu's brain. He's from Philadelphia, just like Netanyahu, which just blows me right out of the water. Jews need a safe homeland. there, Philly wasn't safe enough for you as a Jew. Anyway, we know that Ron Dermer drafted much of it. Netanyahu's office drafted much of it. Trump's office drafted much of it, and Palestinians had nothing to do with it.
Are you and Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian National Authority signing on to it?
Sure. Yeah. So you know the story
any hope
about
in
them,
there?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, do you know the story about Abbas and the PA? I mean, you know what they are, right?
Not necessarily.
Oh, yeah. So they're, I mean, I think even most Israelis would agree with this. It's like it's commonly known that they are toadies of Israel. They assist the IDF in doing raids in the West Bank, in arresting Palestinian militants, all the rest of it. They are widely hated in Palestine. And they receive their funding, their checks, literally their salaries from Israel. So yes, of course they're going to sign on to it. But this is a plan that looks good. It looks as if Israel is conceding a lot, when in fact it's simply phases 2 and 3 will never be enacted. And Smotrich and Ben-Gvir said that, and they're right, as they are about most things in terms of their analysis of the Israeli state. The disarmament, and this is the crux. The disarmament of all factions in Palestine. For a second, I was nervous that Hamas was using this as an opportunity to evacuate and just go into exile, give up their arms. But that does not seem to be the case. Hamas has been saying, multiple Hamas leaders have said in the last several days that they will never do that. And of course, if Palestinians do agree to unilaterally, collectively disarm, then they're gone. They're gone. Meaning they will be killed or pushed out. There's no question. But they have no means of resistance. That would be the end of the 100-year war. That would be the end of it all. If Palestinians give up their right, which is silly, it's the ability to resist with arms, then, of course, we know what Israel can do, anything it wants to, and we know that as of now, something like half the Israeli population wants to colonize Gaza. It's about half. You know, I mean, the Likud movement, the Likud wing of Israeli politics, it's roughly half. It might be more. It's at least half. And they're openly, that sector of the Israeli electorate has been openly saying they want to colonize Gaza, put Jewish settlements all across Gaza, which of course requires kicking out all the Palestinians who remain, unless they accept staying as servants and laborers. No, I mean, this is why those of us on this side of the issue have been either quiet or critical of the Trump's peace plan and the ceasefire plan. The reason we've been quiet or critical is because we know this, because we know, having studied the 100+ year history, we know that unless there's some radical cultural shock among Palestinians in which they completely change their worldviews overnight, yeah, it's going to continue in one way or another. And you can see this in that Zionists and Israeli spokespeople have, since the beginning, since the ceasefire plan was ratified, you may have noticed this. They've been saying constantly, oh, Hamas is going to break the plan. They're going to violate the proposal. They're going to violate the ceasefire provisions. Oh, yeah, they're going to do that. Oh, there's no way Hamas is going to violate this, when we know, in fact, that Israel has violated most of the ceasefires. It doesn't even matter to me who violates it first. Again, these people have chosen not to be colonized and occupied for 100 straight years, successive. There's been no break in this. There has been no period in which the majority of Palestinian people were like, okay, cool, we'll accept a Jewish ethno-state right here, and therefore a second-class citizenship in our homeland where we were born and raised. They haven't. And they have protested. They have written petitions. They have gone to the UN. They have written letters and given speeches to every politician in the world for 100 years and have gotten nothing in return. And so many of them took up arms. And some of them took up arms against Israeli civilians. Correct. Not most, but some. Same with October 7th. Here's what I'm going to say about October 7th. And this is what everyone should say about October 7th. I fully understand and even endorse most of what happened on October 7th. I don't endorse, and in fact, here's Piers Morgan, I condemn, because I do condemn, and I've seen some videos, 2, 3, 4 videos of them doing this, all of the attacks on civilians meant to kill them. Taking civilian hostages is trickier. I don't endorse that, but at the same time, knowing that there were 2,000 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli military prisons who had never had a court appearance, they're hostages too. And so how do we get them out? How do we get 2,000 of our people out? Again, almost none of whom had ever been in court. No formal charges have been brought against them. Some IDF 19-year-old just dragged them into his van and drove them to a jail, and he's been there ever since. And many of them, I think 300, were under 18. How do you get them out when you've had marches and protests and petitions and pleas and BDS and boycotts and none of which has worked? How do you get those 2,000 people in dungeons to come out, to get them out? You got to do a swap. I am not endorsing what they did on that. I am not endorsing taking other hostages to force that. But then again, I also don't know what else they could have done to get 2,000 people and several hundred children out of prisons who had never been even prosecuted in any way. October 7th, of course, was an understandable and largely just reaction to decades and decades and decades of colonization, occupation, ethnic cleansing, and mass murder. The mass murder didn't start on October 7th. Mass murder has been going on, as I said, for 100 years. And I guess I don't understand why the pro-Palestine movement hasn't just straight up said that to Piers Morgan when he says, do you condemn October 7th? I don't. I endorse most of it. And some of it I hate and condemn. Just like everybody in the establishment, what they have to say about Vietnam or World War II or Korea or Iraq. It's like, oh, well, that was a good idea and I generally endorse it, but I don't like the war crimes that were committed by American soldiers in Fallujah, killing, 2,000 French civilians on D-Day because they needed a port to dock their ships at. And it goes on and on. The million or so civilians in Southeast Asia that were murdered by the bombs of the U.S. Air Force. Yeah, no, they regret that, but they think that the war against communism was completely just. The moral logic is completely mappable, but they won't do that in this case. Palestinian resistance fighters, including the terrorists who have blown up airplanes and pizza parlors and buses in Tel Aviv, are essentially morally equivalent, aren't they? Are they not? To the American colonial revolutionaries. And you could say to the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Army and U.S. Marine Corps, who have overthrown how many regimes across the world in the name of human rights, liberating people, way more than Hamas has ever killed. It's so obvious. And I'm very sad that I don't think this is going to end the fighting, the war, the killing of children, the killing of Palestinian people, the killing of Israeli civilians. It's going to continue until we eliminate Zionism. What do you think?
Are you at least happy that your feed doesn't have dead kids in it for 1 week? That
not really, because I know they're coming back.
Celebrating in the streets for 1 week.
No, because I know they're coming back. I am quite sure that they're coming back. If you think that's the last dead Gazan kid you see, think again. You know nothing about the history of this thing. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. That'd be great. Shit. I mean, honestly, if the Palestinian people, like 95% of them, all decided tomorrow that, oh my God, yes, I completely accept this Jewish ethno-state right here, and my place is a second-class citizen at best, and that's great, and I love it, and I'm happy with it, I'm cool too. And I mean it. I don't need them to continue. It's up to them, but they have, for whatever reason, and there's many, but whatever reason, they have for 100 years chosen to resist this.
Even if you, by your own morality, understand and justify October 7th, isn't it one of the worst strategic miscalculations ever by giving your enemy the pretext to accelerate the mass murder?
So, I mean, we don't know exactly that Sinwar anticipated that. That was his thinking. It's certainly possible, though. I'm not discounting it. Let's say it is. Let's say that was his thinking. It's been a resounding success. I mean, Israel has never ever been this low in global public opinion. And most importantly, it's certainly never been this low in American public opinion. It's cratering. It's bottoming out. Republican people under 50, I think a majority, are now opposed to aid to Israel. And of course, basically every Democrat and almost every independent. This is poll after poll after poll for the last year. We know this. It's not cool to wear an Israeli flag. You'll get shouted down by normies now. Normies are anti-Israel for the first time ever. And I think if Sinwar had this in his calculus, he was right. Of course, it's been a resounding success, but of course, at the expense of 60 to 100 to maybe 200,000 human souls, right? But again, I don't know what else they could have done. The other thing about October 7th is that Hamas did not control the entire operation. We don't even know how many Gaza civilians came over the border on that day. We do know that many did. That's not disputed. It certainly could be in the hundreds of just civilians who had nothing to do with Hamas, who came over and killed people, kidnapped people, did whatever they wanted to people. Hamas is actually not responsible for that. And I think it's quite clear that a great number of the casualties, the killings, the kidnappings on that day were by civilians. Not all. I did see one video of a guy with a Hamas headband and military fatigues on shoot two looked like young women, civilians, in the back of the head as they were running away from one of the kibbutzim on that day. It's a thing that chills me. I think about it almost every day. But again, how many American soldiers did exactly the same thing in Iraq in 2003? You think more than one? Oh my God. I mean, how many civilians did American soldiers kill in cold blood in Iraq. I mean, please. And Afghanistan. Most of the Hamas operation, Al-Aqsa Flood on October 7th, 2023, the Western media won't tell you this, was aimed at the military bases that are surrounding Gaza. And most of the operations were against those military bases, and those were overwhelmingly successful. The operations against the towns and the kibbutzim around Gaza were to get hostages. That was the intention. That was the plan, so that they could trade them for the Palestinian hostages in Israeli prisons. That was the plan, which is a very rational plan. It's brutal, but it's rational. And my God, any revolutionary from George Washington to the present in any country would endorse such a plan, morally, ethically, and practically. The thing is, Hamas is not a true nation state. Therefore, they don't have nearly the control over the population that a real nation state does. And they simply couldn't control all those civilians flooding over the border who had been pent up for 16, 17, 20 years in that concentration camp, and who had been led to believe by Israel that Jews are their mortal enemy. Israel, not Hamas, not the teachers in the Hamas schools. No, Israel has been telling those people, Jews will kill you. We represent all Jews, and we need to kill you, is what Israel has been saying for 100 years. And so why would people in Gaza think that Jews are their mortal enemy? Yeah, it's because of Israel, Zionism. You reap what you sow. There you go.
I'm confused as to what Hamas is in a practical sense, in that who are their leaders, since most of them have been assassinated in the last 2 years, and how much do they represent the Palestinian people, and how much of them is some sort of op funded by Israel through the Qatars, through Qatari money, and how much of it, is a psyop to give the justification for Israel to do whatever they want. And we're constantly told by Israel that Hamas is incredibly unpopular and doesn't represent the Palestinian people. So if Hamas is truly disarmed, this is the other thing, is that Trump said Hamas will have to disarm, or they will be made to disarm, threatening a use of force or allowing the IDF to go back in, or some other force to come in and forcibly disarm them. But if Hamas suddenly disappears because they have the pretext to, and they stop getting their funding from Qatar or from Israel or from Egypt or from whoever, and I mean, does Palestine have any means to resist anymore? Is there no longer? Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, they haven't disarmed anything. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that there's not been a single photo or video from the IDF or Israel showing any dead fighter with a gun? Amazing. We've seen so many pictures of civilians dead. Not one. IDF, they have drones 24/7, right? Overhead over Gaza. Every video I've seen from Gaza, someone being interviewed in Gaza, you can hear it. You can hear the drones buzzing overhead. It's one of the tortures that's inflicted on the people there. They all, of course, have high-tech cameras, 4K cameras, and they can see everything. Remember the video of Yahya Sinwar, right? That they love showing of the IDF drone going into the apartment building where Sinwar was sitting on that chair, and they can see everything literally, and they can take video of everything literally, and yet not a single video or photo of any dead guy with a gun. Not a single photo or video of a rocket launcher in an apartment building or a mosque or a school or a hospital. Not one, except for their made-up animations, which we now know were taken from video animations from the British Maritime Museum and other places. There's a great Twitter thread in the last few days about that, showing that all those 3D animation videos that the IDF put out of the Hamas bunkers under the Al-Shifa hospital, with all this amazing detail, were completely fabricated. We knew that at the time. Now it's been proven. Again, it doesn't matter. If Hamas had put their entire military headquarters under the main hospital in Gaza and operated their military operations from the surgery room, the operating room in Al-Shifa hospital, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These people have refused to accept an apartheid Jewish ethno-state in their land. They have refused to accept being displaced from their homes in 1948. You can call that crazy and old world. I'm not sure that's my mindset either. I would probably, as modern American 21st century dude, I would probably just choose to migrate somewhere else that's better, but whatever. Those people have chosen to resist this, and they've never stopped. As a majority, some Palestinians have left. I know several Palestinians who have left, but most have stayed, and most have stayed resistant. And this is what the Zionists who originated the project said. Herzl, Jabotinsky, Ben Gurion, all of them. They all said, we're going to colonize this place. The people will resist. We're going to need to fight them forever. How is that good for Jews? Leave.
Oh, the other thing on this deal, well, I don't know. You said that peace won't be achieved unless the Zionist state is completely dismantled and the project is completely abandoned. Mm-hmm. I think that's a non-starter.
Okay.
Yeah, this is practicality. Just
so was the end to apartheid.
Mm-hmm.
So was the end to segregation.
I'd rather, again, I think.
So was the end to slavery. That was all a non-starter, dude. You know that, right?
Well, I get you. I get you on that, but I mean,
it was.
I think South Africa is much worse now. I think Zimbabwe is much worse than Rhodesia. I think undoing colonialism is much worse than colonialism itself in many cases.
Okay.
And the numbers.
Wait. Hang on. Would you rather continue to oversee, manage, and regulate people in foreign lands of a darker hue and a different culture? Or would you prefer to just let them do what they want to do?
I'm a let them do what they want to do type of guy, personally.
Okay, but, then what the fuck are you talking about?
But I think if the Rhodesians and the Afrikaners stayed together and had a united front, the physical situation today would be much better than it is now if they held off their anti-colonial.
Well, okay. Yeah. Situation for whom? White man.
Everybody.
Oh, maybe. But again, don't you want to let people resist even that? Even an external intervention that might probably improve their lives? I would like to because I've been told that in my own personal life. Oh, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to change your life in this way. It's going to be much better for you, Thad. And in many cases, it was true. Do you not want me just as an individual? Do you want me to just say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do what you want to my life, and it's going to be better. And they might be right. They really might be right. Or would you rather I say, fuck you, I'm my own man?
In my personal life, I've had I've had great experience with allowing people who are smarter than me to make decisions. But
that's not in our relationship because you make all the smart decisions, just so people know. But I assume, who are you talking about?
Professionally, but
really?
Just, I mean,
drummers.
Honestly, yeah. Like as a drummer, you're never the star of the show.
I've heard you.
You've got to be deferential. Yeah,
you're very deferential to your teachers and mentors, and right?
Yeah, and the front man or whoever's leading the project, like it's their show. It's not mine.
Michael, how did you meet those guys?
Through the school at first, and then
did Indiana University like come to your house in the middle of the night and drag you out and put you in a van and take you to class and make you study under these Afro-Caribbean percussion?
I mean, you could say that about the 12 years of public school I had. You could say
no, you chose to, my fucking dude. You chose to. So it's of course not analogous.
That's not quite what I was getting at first.
Sorry, but, my bad. You get what you're getting at. I'll let you do that. I promise.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm at the point. Yeah, it would have been better. I mean, it's a power struggle at the end of the day, and I don't think the Rhodesians and the Afrikaners should have given up that power struggle, and I think it's
sure
widely exaggerated how subjugated and how the circumstances of that thing were.
I agree. As I said, if the Palestinians were to do what many, I don't know about most, but certainly many Indians did vis-a-vis the British Empire, which was to accept it enthusiastically, right? And adopt the English language, adopt the English accent, and carry out the English project of civilizing primitive India, which many, many millions of Indians did deep in their souls, and there's no reason to question them on that at all, right? There have been colonized people around, including Palestinians to some extent, less so, but there have been some, even South Africans, Rhodesian, blacks. Yeah. There have been people all over the world who have been colonized and have loved it, and have even in Rhodesia. Hello, most of the guys with guns, right? For the Rhodesian Free Army, the colonizer army, were black. They were locals because they wanted. You're right. They wanted the whites to rule. Sure. So again, if a people choose that over here, over there, then there is no conflict, and I have no reason to worry about it.
Yeah.
But when they choose to resist, which is usually basically always, then we got to weigh that. Do we want to continue investing in this project that's causing these people to resist?
This is the problem, is that we outsourced our colonialism to this Jewish project. And the Europeans lost their
Zionism.
Okay. I mean, whatever is the population that currently occupies Israel.
It's a cult. It's a cult.
Wow.
It is. Zionism is a cult. No, it is. If you've been around Jews ever, like, you know that, because go ahead.
I like, as somebody who celebrates Columbus Day that just recently happened, I like the fruits of the European colonial project that is
Sure.
this country and that is this entire hemisphere.
Sure.
Yeah, there is something about the 20th century where Europe just abandoned that completely and started fighting each other in their world wars and stopped believing in themselves. And yeah,
wait,
outsourced it to the Zionists. Watch Lawrence of Arabia. Like, wasn't the Arab world much better under British rule than whatever is happening right now? And then
better. I don't know, 20,000 dead kids
under British rule?
No, now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is that? Well, I see.
I'm arguing for Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah.
So the British killed fewer kids. Really? Is that what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know the number, but the British Empire, in its conquests over the last 200 years,
well,
how many children did it kill in? Jesus, how many countries? Dozens across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they killed 20,000 kids. Don't you think?
Well,
the Brits total, yeah, easy. And then women. What, Michael? What are you talking about?
This seems like a hopeless situation. It seems like a death cult.
Well,
and I think the region was much more stable when it was under British rule, and then even before that, under Ottoman rule. I think. Yeah.
So let's return it to what's his name? Erdogan. Is that what you're getting at?
Sure.
You think it'd be Turkey?
I think I want it to be under a competent colonizer who has no qualms about what they're doing. And I see the Zionists as incompetent.
Okay, so listen to this. One of the big, and this is fundamental, differences between the Zionist Israeli colonial project and the American and British and French and Portuguese colonial projects is that the Zionists never had any intention or interest in reforming the people who lived there, right? Whereas the Americans and the British, Cecil Rhodes famously went on and on and on. Woodrow Wilson went on and on and on. They all did. The French too. We're going to uplift the savages. We're going to go invade Africa and South Asia and the Middle East and Latin America in order to make those people's lives better. Was the argument, is the argument, has always been the argument. We might also take their oil reserves while we're there, but actually, I mean this, that was secondary in their own thinking. These people are true believers. Have you not noticed Sam Harris and Barry Weiss and all Doug Murray and all these people? They really do think that Islam is bad. What they call Judeo-Christianity is good. And we need to replace the one with the other.
Well, they don't believe in Judeo-Christianity. None of those people believe in Judeo-Christianity.
No, I know what they think
believe in gay clubs in Tel Aviv.
Sure. Right. They're right. It's funny. Doug Murray, Barry Weiss, both gay. We could think about that. But whatever they think is Judeo-Christianity, they want that to replace what they think is Islam. The most imperialist project, the grandest, most grandiose imperialist project since the Crusades. Maybe Cold War, replacing communism with pro-American capitalism. Maybe that was as grand, but it's that big. And how many Muslims are there? About 1 billion, right? 2 billion? I don't know. It's at least 1 billion. people, stretching all the way across South Asia, all the way to Malaysia and the Philippines. From Morocco to Mindanao Island in the Philippines, you have a huge band of majority Muslim places. It's at least 1 billion people. And those people don't give a shit about me at all. Like, not even unless I vote to send missiles into their cities. Then they care about me. Ron Paul, Michael, did you miss the whole Ron Paul
I'm for it.
revolution? Okay.
No, yeah. Well, don't
That's all
invade
I'm
them over
saying.
here. Well, the other part of that is don't invade them over there so they don't come over here.
Why would they come over here?
Because we've displaced them.
Right. Another argument against imperialism.
Yeah.
Correct. Or they want to get rich and live like Americans, in which case we're like, hell yeah, let's go. Everybody comes in for that, right? Beginning with your people, the Germans. They were the first immigrants. We were like, hell yeah. Because you want to make money and be American.
Michael. I think Germany's fine. I don't have any problems with Germany.
Especially between 1933 and 1939 when it was really at its best. Anyway, no, what do you mean? Are you trying to be contrarian, or are you?
No.
This is deeply
I
felt?
don't have a problem with Germany. It's fine. I don't know why you want me to have a problem with Germany.
I don't either, dude. Who is the greater defender of Germany? Me or anybody else?
Yeah,
me. Okay.
I want to talk. Well, okay. The peace deal putting its targets perhaps
we got 11
on
minutes.
Iran. Russia is escalating. It seems like they're fighting to win all of a sudden. It seems like they are crippling the infrastructure in Ukraine. Oh, yeah. Sorry, my view of history is before.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
It's just it's a power struggle. I think Christianity is good, and I think the Christian forces throughout history are good. I think the non-Christian forces are bad.
Sure.
Yeah, and I side with Christians throughout history, and don't side with non-Christians throughout history. And so I don't see certain groups as morally better than others necessarily based off of their body count, when a lot of groups never had the capability to murder or never.
Jim Jones was a Christian.
He was a Hindu. He was getting into some really weird stuff. He was getting into some really weird transcendental stuff.
Where's Jim Jones from again? I forgot. Where's he
from? Indianapolis.
He's from Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Then he went to San Francisco. And he went to Guyana. Yeah.
But in Indiana, when he was growing up.
Yeah.
Right? In Indiana. He grew up only in Indiana. What church did he belong to?
He was the first person to have a desegregated church in Indianapolis.
What kind of church? What denomination was it?
Was he Baptist? I don't know. But
yeah,
I don't know. His dad was in the Klan.
Christian. Good American.
Yeah.
That's right. Christian, bro. Like real Christian. He wasn't even Pentecostal.
No, dude. He was okay, so you call it he
wasn't a Mormon. He was one of you, bro.
No, he wasn't. He was not one of me. His dad was in an organization about getting rid of me.
Okay.
You call leftism, what do you call it? Secular Christianity. I call it post-Christian secularism.
Okay.
In that
Tell me the difference.
It took the Christianity elements out of it. It took the
No.
and
Well,
replaced it with
wait. Okay, sorry. Not
Yeah.
no. I take that back. Tell me which portions of Christianity it took out.
It took out the humility part, and
wrong.
It's
That's wrong. Wait,
It
no.
took out the
Start with your
subservience.
start with your strong points.
Mhm.
It clearly did take out, obviously, the metaphysical belief in God.
Yeah,
and
which is
Jesus
everything.
as the son, and right. Well, okay, and Jesus as the Son of God, right?
Yeah,
That's gone. Correct. Then it went further. It took out the whole idea of a transcendental God, right? Totally. It's truly secular, has been. Yes, in that
well,
way.
Jim
in
Jones
that way.
replaced God with the revolution, and used a lot of weird occult Eastern practices as well.
You're digressing.
Okay.
Right? Am I right about that though? Don't we agree on that the left absolutely in the last 200 years or so took out, if it's Christian at all, it renounced the idea of a metaphysical transcendental God and that Jesus is the Son of God.
Yeah, and that
and again further that there is any such thing as a transcendental God, right? Correct. Yes.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you
Modern
mean,
progressive
okay?
churches will like openly say that the resurrection never happened, and that like modern progressive churches will say
Right.
at best it's a metaphor to help us understand things. Like
Right.
you can be the Archbishop of Canterbury and say and believe that.
That's
today.
exactly what I believe.
And so
correct.
that's
about the American left. Correct.
Yeah.
However, do you not also believe that Christianity contains a particular moral code, a very specific moral code that I understand you believe is connected intrinsically to the belief in a transcendental God? But could you not also see that list of rules as applicable to a secular cause? The Ten Commandments.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
for starters, that's just for starters, right? Jesus said a lot more than that. But all the rules, the ideas, the norms established by the Ten Commandments, and then especially the teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus said a lot about how he was the Son of God, but he also said a lot about how people should organize their lives, how they should behave, and even how they should think. Yes or no?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to draw a line between the two. The metaphysical stuff, the belief in God, and the moral code established by Christianity. And I want to say that the moral code established by Christianity has been taken up, has been unconsciously internalized by Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Brown, Woodrow Wilson, Eugene Debs, every Communist Party activist in the United States, the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King. Do I need to even explain that one? Right? That even not the gay liberation movement, but the current gay marriage, gay rights movement, all of the American left from about 1660 to 2025 has been imbued by what I call a secular Christian interpretation of the world. No? I give you 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Go.
As soon as you make it.
I'm kidding.
As soon as you get rid of the metaphysics, you substitute the metaphysics for yourself.
Right.
and
Yeah.
and
Narcissism.
then it becomes the absolute opposite of the religion. It becomes so
narcissism.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. Correct. The American left has been a narcissistic project from the beginning. Correct.
There was a Lutheran pastor this week who preached that she wasn't going to read the Great Commission. That was the reading for this week, and that the Great Commission was racist, and had your idea about the Great Commission, but still,
it's not racist. I never said that.
Well,
wait, what? I don't think it's racist. It's
an oppressive
anti-racist.
colonizing force, that
Well,
everybody must,
yeah, but it's anti-racist.
Because go out that everybody has,
we're all God's children. We're all equal. We're all the same. That's absolutely. Jesus was a complete anti-racist. But was he a colonizing, probably oppressive force? Obviously, of course. Well, how do you can only say that it was a positive colonization?
Yes.
Okay. Right. You can't say it's not a colonization.
Would you rather live under Aztec rule or Spanish rule? That's my question. Would you?
Dude, Michael, I love you. And I want to say to everybody listening, which is millions and millions of people, that is the only good argument against what I'm saying. Yeah. What you're saying is the only thing that we can chew on. It's the only argument I've ever heard that's a good argument against imperialism and colonization. And I've said this before, right? And the evidence is substantial, which is that a lot, maybe not a majority, but a lot of people who have been colonized have not just accepted it, but welcomed it and even fought for it. Like I said, the black soldiers who fought for the Rhodesian White Army, the British loyalists in the 1770s and 1780s, right? And all in between, every anti-colonial movement has had traitors. Even in Gaza, they just shot 8 of them in the central square in Gaza City 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh.
But wouldn't you, by the way, if you were besieged and you found out that 8 dudes were like giving information to the people who were bombing your children? No, really. And
there's a log history of deserters being punished. I'm not.
Oh,
traitors and deserters being punished. I'm not.
What did we do in the American Army? I mean, when we found out about traitors and deserters firing squad, it looked not similar to. It looked exactly like what Hamas did to its own informants. And that was not that was in World War II, when Germany wasn't killing American civilians and children every single day. They weren't killing any Americans ever, in fact, because they had no ability to attack Americans, which is something that Franklin Roosevelt lied about consistently. But anyway, in this case, if I had good information, and again, I don't know what kind of process they went through, and that's my problem there, but whatever. If I myself had good information that my neighbor was feeding information to someone who was bombing my fucking house and had killed my child, give me a rifle, dude. Like, again, that's as American as apple pie. My impulse that I just expressed there, my feelings about that, my political instincts about that particular question, that is so American. I can't even imagine what would be more American. These are a colonized people. Remember, guys, everybody, we began as that. We, America, that whole thing. Colony. They sent troops from Britain, remember, guys, with guns on ships to here. And they occupied Boston and New York City with troops from a foreign land and told us that we had to be part of this foreign land. and we had to abide by the rules of this foreign land. And what we did was instead we shot them in the skull. The redcoats, have you not seen the descriptions of the battlefields in the early Revolutionary War? Heads blown like poosh. Vapor, pink vapor. Musket balls were this big. Boosh back then. Cannons, boosh. Whole bodies disintegrated in front of you. And this was not long range, right? We didn't have sniper rifles and drones. This was within 100 or 200 yards. Boosh, dead man evaporated in front of you because he was trying to colonize your home. Hamas is American as apple pie. Yep. And oh my gosh, the Puritanism, the asceticism, they don't throw gays off of buildings, but they're anti-gay, they're anti-homosexual. They absolutely have laws against homosexuality. Hell yeah. They have laws against women not wearing facial coverings, the hijab. Oh, hell yeah. Exactly like the founders of America. Who do you think the Puritans were? Who do you think the founding fathers were? They all wanted women to be covered. Have you not seen women's fashions of the 19th century? They're covered from the crown of their head to their ankles. And what was done to women who were at all promiscuous? What was done to homosexuals? They were put in asylums or they were murdered on the streets. Same with women who refused to wear the American hijab. They were put in asylums or they were murdered on the streets. I'm not exaggerating. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why we need to invade these other countries to correct their ways of being. Why we need to, and Israel is an invasion. That's a Western invasion of the Middle East, facilitated by Great Britain and then the United States with some help by France. In the middle, in between, in the 40s and 50s, France gave Israel all of its fighter jets. Palestine, Hamas, Hezbollah, Hamas, the nastiest, most Islamist warrior factions among Palestinians. They are as American as apple pie. And I don't understand. I don't understand why any American would identify with this colonizing ethno-state against the colonized people. Sorry. That was my sermon.
Just to wrap things up, the institutional legitimacy that Trump got from this, I think, is kind of taking the winds out of the sails of the Democratic playbook, which is to paint Trump now with the No Kings protest. They want to paint him as King George III. He's no longer Hitler. He's Hitler and he's King George III, apparently, when really he's Abraham Lincoln, which is...
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The great unifier, right? The nation state. No, the unification of the nation state.
Yeah. Is
what Trump's
preventing
about.
Trump. He's preventing America from collapsing is the whole Trumpist project is, and they're literally trying to secede. I think secession is on the books and part of the strategy. Alex Jones has been talking about the Podesta plan, which goes into actively resisting federal authority, trying to create an inflection point where federal authorities kill resistors, and then that leads to wide-scale resistance nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Not unlike the movie One Battle After Another, or the movie that came out last year, Civil War. Amazing how Hollywood has predictive programming for all this. But that's like literally explicitly the plan. You have J.B. Pritzker and Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom putting in legal groundwork for local authorities to have clashes with federal authorities over this ICE thing happening right now. And then that's only going to escalate if Trump uses the Insurrection Act to counter that. So that's the official strategy. But I think making this sort of deal that the establishment loves is, Scott Adams made this point, is taking the wind out of the sails of all that, because how can he be on the cover of Time, and how can Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and all the Democrats say this is an amazing, hopeful moment for all of us, and then turn around and say that he's Hitler? How can Hitler create peace in the Middle East? It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work.
Well, Hitler has not created peace in the Middle East. That's the only thing to say about this. Everything else is just stupid partisanship.
Yeah. That's one thing going into No Kings on October 18th. The Nobel Peace Prize going to that Venezuelan opposition leader who then dedicated the prize to Trump. Machado, Maria Corina Machado, is very interesting because the Nobel Prize Committee of European elitists, globalist elitists, don't want to give it to Trump for all the peace deals he's made, but they want to give it to a Trump ally who is a key figure in getting a regime change in Venezuela.
Right.
So what is it about the establishment also being on board with the regime change in Venezuela? Something to look towards.
Yeah, so on Venezuela, I strongly recommend everyone read Anya Parampil at the Gray Zone, or just go to the Gray Zone and you'll see their coverage on Venezuela. It's incredible. They've blown like 3 boats out of the water in the last week with zero due process, zero anything except some overhead video from a drone showing a boat with some people on it getting blown up in the ocean. It's driven mostly probably by Marco Rubio, who's had, again, it's all about ideology, everybody. Since he was a child, he's been ideologically driven to overthrow and supplant every communist or semi-communist or potentially communist movement or regime in all of Latin America. Okay. I'm an anti-communist. I think I'm as anti-communist as anybody can be. The question is, do you want to, again, use the U.S. Marines and the U.S. drones to carry that out and kill a whole bunch of people in the process? And do you think that will stem the tide of communism? Or will it increase it? This is a question we've been dealing with since about 1948, set 9, 49, 46. And I think we know the answer. We've known the answer because we've had wars to find the answer, in a way, in Korea and Iraq, Iran, Yemen, Syria. I'm talking about the 1950s and 60s, by the way. Congo, Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. I could keep going. There have been 40 covert regime change operations launched by the CIA against communist movements or national regimes since 1945. At least 50. So those are the ones we know about. That's the question. And I think communism, we have found, dies when there is any chance of people in those countries watching American music videos or listening to American music or watching American pornography, which is not a small deal, or watching Dallas or Married with Children or Family Guy or The Simpsons, which is what millions and millions and millions and millions of people across the Muslim, Islamic, and dictatorial third world have been doing for decades now, choosing freedom and pleasure that we all enjoy against and above the dictates of Islamism or communism or nationalism. So, if we want to have freedom in those places, if that's what we care about, let the market reign, let trade flow, and let's stop bombing them. Britney Spears has done more to liberate people around the world than the 82nd Airborne could even imagine to do. So tired of killing people in my name, man. When at the same time, we have all these wonderful artists and creators in America who are making people happy, liberating them in all sorts of ways around the world. It seems obvious to me. Let YouTube reign. Let Spotify reign around the world. Let VPNs reign. Let satellite dishes proliferate on every rooftop in Tehran and Phnom Penh and Pyongyang and everywhere we care about. Let those people have what they want and stop sending in our 19-year-olds with guns and drones and bombs and aircraft carriers. Seems obvious to me. And if you want to hear that whole argument laid out in print, that will be my book, published by Grove Atlantic next September.
One thing on the Nobel Peace Prize, also, it carries a cash prize as well, equivalent to $1.2 million. So the Venezuelan resistance is getting a large cash infusion from the Nobel Committee, essentially.
Right.
I'm just curious, what does Europe want from this? What does Europe want from this? Why is Europe interested in this one? Well, Europe meaning the EU, Western Europe.
Yeah. They have wanted only one thing since 1945, which is for the United States to say good boy, or good girl, or good it, whatever the trans version is. No, yeah. So that's all that is. That's a colonized people, Western Europe, since 1945. They've been absolutely colonized psychologically, and militarily and economically too. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's
they want successful American imperialism, but they want it done by not Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, because they're people. They know they're people like American empire. They want American bases basically everywhere. They like that. Generally, Western Europeans want that, but they're also into trans rights and gay rights, and they're what we call socially liberal. They're all pro-choice, you name it. And so that's the balance the EU leaders are plying. They are balancing those two things. And, they've actually done a decent job. It's just an impossible thing to sustain indefinitely. We will see the explosion of NATO soon. But it's also like way past time.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go, bro.
Yep.
Because the party's waiting. The party is called the after show. And it's only for extremely cool people. It's only people I really, really like are invited or allowed into this party. This party that happens after every Unreported, every Wednesday night at this time. Only the coolest people, I swear to God, because I hate uncool people. We hang out. We might or might not do some drugs. And we talk and we have a great time. And it's been the highlight of my week for, I think it's 5 years now we've been doing this show, the after show. If you want to be a part of this incredible experience, it's a whole new subculture. It's like the Woodstock of the 2020s. Go to thaddeusrussell.substack.com and just become a stupid goddamn paid subscriber. My God. Like, really? $5 a month to be a part of the best party on earth? Okay. It's a little of an exaggeration, but if you want to be a part of the after show, or if you don't want to be a part of the after show, if you hate hippies, if you hate fun and pleasure and freedom, if you hate all that, but you love this show and you watch this show, then totally become a subscriber. Go to thaddeusrussell.substack.com. And I hope to see you at the after show, at a course, the course on the history of the American left coming up at unregisteredacademy.com. It's our sister site at Substack, Unregistered Academy. I'll see you in class. I'll see you at the after show, or I'll see you next week, or I'll see you most likely in hell, to borrow a phrase from friends of ours. All right, people. Peace. Michael, love you, man. Awesome.
Shalom.
See you soon. See you in a minute. Yeah.
Peace.